It was the worst day in crypto history yesterday. The worst day in history. Luckily, I was asleep, man. I was asleep and, I woke up to this. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Trying to find out if it was anything like catastrophic or major or anything, and we'll get into that. But during COVID, the biggest liquidation event was 1.2 billion, I think, 1.2 billion. And doing FTX, it was 1.6 billion, right? Yesterday was 19 billion. So almost 19 times worse COVID, bro. Which is like, this is crazy. So just to show y'all here, this is Aave, right? Aave was at $280 and it fell to $80 pretty much. It's $240 now. Folks been asking me about BNB, right? I had a comment from Love 100, right? Asking me about, hey, Bitcoin or BNB or whatever. And I'm like, yo, Bitcoin, BNB has been running, right? Wait for a pullback at least or whatever. BNB fell from 1260 something all the way back down to 850 something, right? And we're at 1125 now. It's not going to get better. Let's check, what did ETH do? Ethereum went from, it then took 4 years to get back to 4,000. It was at 4,400, and that fell to 3,358. I'll have some more information about Ethereum later in this video. Let's get to some of the crazier ones. There's Doge. And Doge was like $25, and that fell to 9 cents. Yikes, that's crazy. From 25 cents to 9 cents. Okay, and we're at 19 right now. If this will load up here, wow. It was $44. They fell to $24. And I'll do one more. Y'all get the point. Who was that? Probably should just type it in, huh? I always get somebody to ask me about Sui. And I told them months ago, maybe even over a year ago, that Sui was trash. Solana 2.0. And yesterday we was at $3.40 something. This thing fell to like 50 cents. See there? From 340 something to 50 cents. Back up to 275 now. Cosmos, I don't know if it's not, it doesn't show it on here, but on Binance, let me just pull it up. On Binance, Cosmos actually was a penny. Okay? And Binance actually shut down, by the way. See, it shows here that it went from 427 to $1 something. No, on Binance, it actually went to a penny. And of course, somebody was down there to buy and made a bunch of money, whatever. So let me put it in more easier to understand terms, because like this is crazy. But when you see the amount of money that people actually lost, this is Hyperliquid. These are real traders on Hyperliquid who were leveraged, and this is how much they've lost in the past 24 hours. $59 million in the last 24 hours. 35 million, 22 million, 20 million, 19, 18 million, 17 million, and this will just go on and on. This is in the last 24 hours. Millions of dollars lost. What's interesting here is they actually show you how much they have in their account. This guy lost 11.9 million. He has $16. This dude has a penny. He's got a penny after losing $13 million in a day. Can you imagine a penny? This dude has zero. Okay? He's lost $18 million. In the last 24 hours, zero in his account. I don't know if he's up. He might wake up to, can you imagine waking up, right, to nothing? You had $18 million when you went to bed. You have nothing now, right? Imagine the families impacted by this. I'm sure there were some wives and some girlfriends that, told them months ago or years ago or whatever, right? I don't know about this crypto stuff. Maybe you should get out of it. And they probably told them to go sit down, which they should, right? But this just reinforces that negativity. The reality is, right, this is the fault of these individuals for leveraging. If they had just held, right, held their assets, yes, they would have experienced it going down, but they would have also experienced it coming up. And they would have woke up to maybe being down, a little bit, but not a lot. Right? Bitcoin is down today. Did I show y'all Bitcoin? Bitcoin is down. So yeah, I'm down. Right? But I'm not trading Bitcoin. I don't have leveraged Bitcoin other than this one test trade that I'm doing, just to show people what can happen. But yeah, Bitcoin fell from 120 something to 101. If I was leveraged Bitcoin, maybe I lose. Right? But I'm just holding. Right? Which is what I've been preaching. Oh, it's so boring. It's so boring. Well, maybe this isn't boring. I'm sure this is losing $59 million in 24 hours I probably wouldn't describe it as boring, but I also wouldn't want this to be me. So if you want excitement, right, here you go. This is as exciting as it gets. Baby, I lost 59 million. How exciting is that? Wow. Right? So if that's what you're looking for, okay. I'm not looking to be excited by losing. I'm looking to, have ownership of whatever I'm invested in. And so, that's what a lot of you traders out there, because I'm sure some of you watching this video were caught up in this, right? What you guys fail to understand, among a lot of things, is you're trading back and forth. You're going in and out of ownership. You had Bitcoin and you didn't. You had Bitcoin, you have it, you sell it. You have it, you sell it. You have it, you sell it. Nobody has ever made money like that. And if you're doing this kind of trading, which is perps trading, you don't even own Bitcoin anyway, so it doesn't matter. This is a paper trade. When you buy this, you don't actually own Bitcoin. You're just playing a Bitcoin game. Right? Now, if you know what you're doing or whatever, if you just hold, right? Long term, if you hold, you can win the Bitcoin game. You can win, why this ain't move? You can win Bitcoin Candy Crush. Right? You can do that if you understand what Bitcoin is, if you know how to read the proper information. Has nothing to do with charts or anything like that. Right? But most people, they're not focused on that. Okay, they're just focused on get rich quick, get rich right now, get rich today. And you're out there believing influence. Hey, I did this, I did that. Okay, find those influencer accounts today, bro. Find out if any of them will share that they lost whatever they had. You probably won't find it. Okay. Unfortunately, this isn't the end of the news. Like, this isn't enough, but this isn't the end. Okay. So where do we want to go next? Let's go here next, just to further illustrate what's going on. This is CoinGlass. Is this going to come up? Okay, and this just shows you how many cryptos are oversold. Look at this. All the ones that are on here pretty much are in the extreme oversold category, right? Oversold, right? You have, let me see, you got a bunch of stable coins that's in like the neutral. I saw USDC on here that was neutral some kind of way, right? And then you got a couple up here that I don't know about. I need to look into those, right? But the great majority are oversold, right? What this means is, if you traded on leverage, any of these, right, your entire account was blew up. The whole thing is gone, right? And worse, if you actually try to use Solana, of course, Solana's got to show up, right? There are many reports that Solana literally did not work. Your transactions did not go through. So, of course, I tried to find that. And, of course, Solana is totally centralized. They won't show all of the failed transactions, but I'm going to show you the only proof that I can find. But I've seen multiple people talk about it. But what I do see is something I've never seen before. This is on chain, and we have this action called close account. Now, look at this, close account. Here's the thing about blockchain, y'all. There's no such thing as close account. If somebody is closing your account, that means that they have the ability to close your account. Somebody else is choosing to close your account. You can't close blockchain. You can't close blockchain, right? It's always open. So this is, some evidence. I said I see create account close. This don't happen on blockchain, but I don't have like blockchain evidence of Solana, like the transactions not going through. I used to be able to find that. Now all of a sudden I can't find it because they're totally centralized and they're hiding information. They're not the only ones that's hiding information. I can't get into everything in this video, right? But, XRP is nowhere to be found. You can't find their information. I've talked about that before, right? But here's proof here. Here's the Solana Reddit. And the Solana Reddit is saying that during the largest crypto liquidation event in history, Solana network performed extremely well, with median fees remaining low, while Ethereum Layer 2's mainnet fee spikes, with Arbitrum gas reaching about $100 per transaction. I'm going to show you how that, well, you can see it right now. Here's an Ethereum transaction. They said it was $225 during the shutdown, right? Which is just crazy. But I didn't know Arbitrum was at $100 as well. That's wild. But here's Solana. We're the best. Raw transaction surges 6 to 10K per second. Right? This is the official Solana Reddit. And here are people saying, I had the majority of my transactions fail, as did a few of my friends who were trying to withdraw from dApps as well. Right? And literally, while I was researching for this video, this popped up. These posts are delusional at best. multiple transactions failed for me and my friends. Just because the network didn't break entirely again doesn't mean things went well. Here's what really went on, y'all. What really went on is Solana has a public network and a private network. The public network is for regular people like you and me. The private network is for like whoever they deem worthy. Okay? Whoever is knighted by the sword. You are able to use the private Solana network. Bow your head as I knight you to be able to use. This blockchain will work no matter what, even though the peasants will not be able to get their transactions through. You, Sir Knight, will be able to process your transaction because you need to sell your stuff before the peasants wake up and find that their money is not in the coffers. Okay? That's what happened. So they allow politicians and other people to get their transactions through a private network. But regular people like you and me, right? No, that didn't go through. Solana is trash. I've been spending a lot of time on XRP lately. Y'all already know XRP is trash. I need to edge back over a little bit more to the Solana is trash because I've been leaving them alone, and I shouldn't. And this kind of stuff, just you have people saying, "Bro, I couldn't get my stuff through y'all. Our network was so great, right?" But just as a side note here, here's a proof of one Ethereum transaction, also trash, charging $225. Some people were saying their transactions were like $700. So let me be clear about that. $700 means you can try to do something and it might go through, or it might not. You're still paying the $700, right? If that's true. I can't say if that's true, but I can see the 225 right now. Ethereum layer 2 was supposed to be, cheaper and faster and all that. That's what they've been saying. And now you have people saying, well, Arbitrum was over $100. Well, I guess that is cheaper. $100 is better than $200. That is cheaper, right? But, last time I did a transaction, and to be fair, I haven't done one within, 24 hours. My transaction fee on Avalanche was a penny or two, right? I will be topping up my 100 today. So I'll let you guys know, next time I do a video how that went. I know for damn sure it's not going to cost $225. Right? So, again, because we about to get into it, I got to get into it. The decisions that 100 keeps making keeps looking better and better to get on chains that actually work, that are actually, cheap and so on and so forth. Now, just keeping it real, there are a lot less people on Avalanche, way less people on Avalanche. So who knows if Avalanche gets the same amount of traffic as Solana, are they going to have similar issues? We don't know that. But, what we do know is unlike Solana, the different projects that come to Avalanche, if they choose to, they can have their own chain. And so that reduces the stress of everything that's going on. If they decide to, make their own chain, right? Now, I've seen no evidence, just keeping it real, I've seen no evidence that 100 is going to do that or whatever, but I'm just saying that, there are hundreds of different projects on Avalanche that have its own chain. So the likelihood that you're going to see this is lower, right? But, amidst all of this chaos, right? BNB falling, Bitcoin falling, Doge falling, Cosmos going to a penny. All of the, Cosmos used to be a crypto that I recommended, right? And I remember Cosmos. I don't know. Yeah. I think I recommended Cosmos at 40 cents, and it went up to $40. So that was one that used to be a recommendation on it. So to have that go to a penny, right? Of course, I was the first person to talk about Aave on YouTube. So, and I remember selling Aave at $77. And so for Aave to fall from 200 something bucks to pretty much where I sold it years ago, $85 or 80 something, right? That's crazy. And why did all this happen? Allegedly because Trump put some tariffs on China. What does Aave have to do with tariffs on China? What does Bitcoin have to do with tariffs on China? Right? None of these cryptos have anything to do with tariffs. But because, they're connected to something, I got to say this before I get into the real stuff. All of this, the reason why all of this stuff happens is because it's all electronic. And so all of these companies work together and they use each other for liquidity. And so if you have a bunch of stop limit orders out there, those are going to execute in succession over and over and over. And it's going to be a cascading effect, right? And if you're sharing liquidation between, which I know that there are, if you're sharing liquidity, not liquidation, don't want to share liquidation, but if you're sharing liquidity, if you're dependent on one thing, it's going to create a cascading environment, between things that have nothing to do with each other. I have experienced that personally. I have been in a crypto and another crypto got rugged. They minted a bunch of it. And I'm like, oh man, that's messed up. Here I am thinking I'm safe, but they shared liquidity, right? This was on BNB chain, Wombat, okay, scammers. They share liquidity, and because on one platform they got rugged, my tokens, which had nothing to do with what they were doing, also went to zero. And I was confused. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I have nothing to do with this. Yeah, I lost a bunch of money just from that, right? But amidst all of this chaos, amidst all of this liquidation, right, all of this stuff, there's something that doesn't seem to care what happens. Isn't that interesting? There's something that is acting like what y'all talking about. What happened? I didn't see it. What had happened? Right? And that's 100. Why does 100 work in this type of shit? Why everything else going down? Why does this work? Simple answer. 100 helps people manage their emotions. That is the thing that nobody, myself included, talks about. We talk about the scammers, and the phishing and pump and dumper. We talk about all of that. But what we don't talk about is just the real issue is managing your emotions. That's what it is. The real issue is you see something going down and you like, oh, what's wrong? Because crypto was so early, I think in the back of most people's mind, even though they call it FUD, and even though they say, oh, no, that's not going to happen, I think in the back of a lot of people's minds, they still think crypto has a chance to go to zero. They think they think that crypto has a chance to go to zero. So when something drops, they're like, "Oh, is this that time that it's going to go to zero?" And they panic. Not only that, crypto is the only place where you have direct access to your funds. Right? Stocks, you don't have access like that. Stocks, you literally cannot sell. Right? You have to hold for, 30 years or 15 years or, depending on your age and so on and so forth, unless you're managing a personal account. But 99% of people in crypto have their money being managed by somebody else. So crypto is the one place where you can manage it. But here's the thing. Most people managing your crypto and managing your emotions is the same thing. If you can't manage your emotions, if you're emotional, you will lose in crypto. And that's what this is. This is emotion. This is decision making. This is, right? There's no way you should be this over leveraged to lose $59 million. How much leverage do you have to use to use that? Or maybe it wasn't leverage. Maybe they had 30 million, right? And at 2 times leverage, they're on an altcoin that goes down 50%. Guess what? You just lost 60 million. Right? Like, this is emotion. If you just held, you wouldn't have lost 59 million, right? And this is the thing about 100. You might want to sell. Oh man, look at the market. Oh man, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh man, I can't do nothing. Right? Well, I guess I gotta go sit down. Right? And then over the next, 100 hours, because we'll just look at this right quick. Whoever this person is, they're in this for 100 hours at least. Right? Everybody that comes after them is going to help this person. Right? So, unless nobody buys, which is, possible or whatever, the chances that this person is going to be in profit is higher. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it's higher. And the same can be said for going back 100 hours. So somebody that bought 100 hours ago, they can sell. But if you see what 100 is doing, even if you bought 100 hours ago, sell for what? What am I selling for? Everything else is crashing. So why would I sell the safest thing? Like, it's the code that produces the calmness, right? It's the code that helps you with your emotions. That's what it is. The not being able to hack it, can't scam it, can't phish it, those are also byproducts of the 100 hours. And so the power of 100, the potential of 100 is literally a few of these guys. A few of these guys figuring out, wait a minute, this can't be manipulated. Because let me be clear, guys, this is manipulation. This is manipulation, and this is technology. Integrated technology where, stops on stops. This is why I don't believe in stops. Even on my little Bitcoin trade that I have, that I'm using just to show people how to trade, I have no stops. So yeah, I'm sure I was down a bunch, but I'm not down that much right now. If I had stops in place, I probably would have locked in, a negative trade. And that's what a lot of people do, right? Because that's what you're told. Oh, just use stops, just use stops. No, you don't need a stop on Bitcoin. Hear me, I'm saying Bitcoin because Bitcoin, this is the worst drop in history. For the people that say, oh, Bitcoin could go to zero, send this to that person. This right here is the worst drop in crypto history. From 125, 124, 121 to 101. The worst in history. What type of percentage? That's like 20-something percent. Okay. Worst drop in history, 20-something percent. And then we've recovered like 10% of that. So we're like down, as you can see, we're down 7.92%. If you just go back a little bit more, Bitcoin was lower than this in August. And if we go back a little bit more, this ain't moving right. Bitcoin was lower than this in June. So we've been lower than what we are right now 2 months ago. But this is the worst crash in history. But just 2 months ago, this would have been an all-time high. Come on, y'all. So if you understand that, it's like, okay, man, I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about that. But that requires thought. This requires actual thinking. This requires actual research to understand this. This requires no thought. Huh? What happened? Oh, man, I don't know. You do any research? No. I'm just holding. I just know, I can't do nothing for 100 hours. What you gonna do after 100 hours? I don't know. We'll see what happens. 100 hours is up a little. I guess I keep holding. This takes all the panic and it takes everything out of it. And so if you have a situation like this where you don't have to think, do you honestly think these kind of people, right, who know nothing about 100, this is the strength of 100. We're doing this. Nobody know about us, man. Nobody know about us. Nobody know about us. Wait until these dudes find out. Right? And if you keep talking to people, eventually you or somebody you know are going to run into one of these dudes. And you're going to say, yo, dude, here's a crypto that can't be manipulated. You know how Bitcoin was manipulated? Yeah, I know. I lost a bunch of money. Well, this can't be manipulated. This can't be pumped and dumped. Right? There was another thing on here. Here it is right here. This is an hour ago. Are you protecting your trades from the newly evolved evasive sandwiching? Are you protecting your trades from the newly evolved evasive sandwiching? I have no idea what it is. I know what sandwiching is. I don't know what the newly evolved. Let's read it. Sandwich attacks are simple in theory. Attacker front runs your buy, pushes price up. You trade at worst price. Let me deal with that right quick. Basically, right, this person right here, this smart person right here who just spent $189. If somebody, hacker dev or whatever wanted to set it up where, right, they made money, it's guaranteed money making now. They can set it up with their buy. They see this buy and they buy in the same transaction before this guy. And then in the same transaction, when you buy, they sell. Right? So however much this pushes 100 up, right? They can make 1% or 0.5% or whatever it is over and over and over and over. You can't do that with 100. It's impossible. Why? Because even the bots have to hold. 100's been botted before. You can see the transaction, especially back in the, you will see these little $5, 1 cent thing. They're trying to bot it. Right? You can't do it. But here's Solana, one of the top blockchains in the world, talking about what are you doing to protect yourself from sandwiching. Right? So what is this new way? Attacker back runs with the sell. So they sell first, okay. Extracts profit, enter evasive sandwiching. Instead of one clean front run and one clean back run, they now use obfuscated techniques, split their back run into fragments, route through multiple pools, hide identity across wallets. This breaks naive symmetry detection, making them much harder to catch. It's just sandwiching. The hiding the identity now is supposed to be a public blockchain. How are they hiding their identity? Now, again, nobody knows your identity, right? As long as it's not tied to your name or something like that. So all blockchain is private, but it's still supposed to be transparent where we can see the transactions. As we know, Solana is hiding transactions. So this whole, I don't know what they're talking about, but whatever they're talking about, whatever method they have, you can't fragment your sales. You can buy one time and you can sell one time. That's it. So hackers are going to keep coming up with stuff to take your money, y'all. Like, that's what people don't understand. That for people that, I don't know about 100 if, the utility and use case. I mean, it just seems real simple just to do that. Bro, they're evolving. They're evolving with new techniques. 100 was created 2 years ago. The techniques are more technical now. They've evolved now, but the code has remained the same, and it's stopping the new techniques. The whole quantum computing thing that everybody's scared of, that's supposed to break Bitcoin or whatever. They're not going to be able to quantum computer attack 100 because the quantum computer is going to have to wait 100 hours. At the end of the day, the most important stone is the time stone, bro. When the Avengers can't beat who they fighting, what's the secret weapon? Well, we can't beat them up, so we're just gonna stop time. There was one monster that they could not beat, that Doctor Strange could not beat. I just watched Avengers last night, so that's why this is fresh in my mind. But I didn't watch Doctor Strange. I might watch Doctor Strange today. But there was one monster that they couldn't beat. I forget which movie this was. Could not beat him. So all Doctor Strange did was kept rewinding the fight. And the monster is whooping Doctor Strange behind over and over. And Doctor Strange was like, oh man, you really got me that time. And he rewound the fight. And the monster's like, what is going on, bro? Wait. Oh, nothing. I'm just rewinding time. And the monster literally got tired of fighting. Because he was able to rewind time. We're not rewinding time. But no matter what happens, whoever is whoever, whatever people are out there trying to do to 100, trying to hurt 100, whatever they're doing, they got to wait 100 hours. And that simple metric stops literally all of this. And nobody knows about it. Man, BG, why you keep talking about 100, man? Why you keep, man? because literally this is the best opportunity, I think, in life right now. Seriously. We're currently at, and this is the metric I'm going to use every time, because BNB has been killing. BNB, one of my best investments, man. I was just looking at my wife. I said, I told you about we should have sold our house for BNB. I told you, right? I bought BNB at $1, 200 million market cap. 100 is currently at BNB at 7.5 cents. And it's been on a tear. If you buy today, you are buying BNB at 7.5 cents. Or if you like Bitcoin, right, you're buying at 75 cent Bitcoin. You choose. I like the BNB option because I like potentially going from 7.5 cents to right now $1,100. Yeah, I would take $1,100 BNB. I'm sorry, $1,100 honey. I'd take that. I'll take that. I'm sure most of y'all would take that too. But at the price today, we're at 7.5 cent BNB. And it does all these things. And it protects you from all of this. Why would I talk to you about anything else? Okay, this is a huge opportunity, and whatever else these devs come out with is a huge opportunity that people aren't talking about. And they probably won't start talking about it until we're probably over $1 billion market cap. Just keeping it real. And even then, it will have the same properties it has now. It'll still be 100x potential from $1 billion market cap. We're nowhere near that. Right? So you see in real time, ladies and gentlemen, right, the issues that crypto has. Ethereum still doesn't work. Solana doesn't work. People are still using too much leverage. This is still 2021, honestly. That's what I'm actually kind of disappointed about. It's like we haven't learned anything. The FTX crash took out a bunch of people. This one has taken out 19 times more people. And some of those people will never come back. That hurts crypto. I don't care what anybody says. That hurts. So why aren't we building systems that help people manage their emotions, help people with some type of technology, some type of something that doesn't allow this? One reason, and one reason only, because the people who are building this stuff are making so much money from it, they don't care that you're losing. So yeah, I'll make a platform where you lose all your money because the bottom line is I'm making money off your losses. That's just the truth. Right? So, but here we have something that's trying in their own way to do something a little bit different. And I think it inevitably for some people becomes where they store their money. Right? And so you have the ability to get in before these other people get in. That's what we got going. All right? It's your boy BSG. I'm going to holler at y'all in the next video.